Hello everyone, welcome back to Know Your English Grammar. Today's lesson is a continuation of the 14 rules of subject-verb agreement, also known as Concord in English grammar. Once you know these rules, you will master the art of writing perfect English grammar. In my last video, I gave you part 1 of this lesson, which includes rules 1 to 6. To refresh your memory, here is the introduction that we had in part 1. Following that, we will get right into the lesson, beginning with rule number 7. If you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet, may I take this opportunity to invite you to do so that you won't miss any of my next lessons. Let's get right into part 2. Concord in English grammar simply means the agreement or harmony between the subject and the verb. This is otherwise called subject-verb agreement. For a sentence to be grammatically correct, the subject must agree with the verb in person and number. So a singular subject equals a singular verb, and a plural subject equals a plural verb. Once you understand the relationship between the subject and the verb, you will be able to construct perfect sentences in English grammar. What is a subject? The subject is that part of the sentence that contains the person or thing that is performing the action in a sentence. The subject may be a noun or a pronoun. For example, John is riding his bike in the park. John is a person performing the action in the sentence, so John is a subject. Now, what is a verb? A verb is the action that is performed in the sentence. So if we use the same sentence, John is riding his bike in the park, we have already established that John is a subject. He is the person performing the action in the sentence. And what is John doing? He's riding his bike in the park. So riding is the action that is performed in the sentence. Therefore, riding is the main verb in the sentence. Is the helping verb. So our sentence, John is riding his bike in the park. John is a subject. Riding is the main verb, and is the helping verb. Now let's get into part 2, beginning with rule number 7. Rule number 7, prepositional phrases. Words such as of, in, at are prepositions, and the expressions are called prepositional phrases. Disregard these expressions when determining the subject of the sentence. For example, each of the students is receiving a merit certificate. Following the rule, we will disregard the prepositional phrase of the students and focus on the subject each, which is a singular subject which requires a singular verb, is. Each of the students is receiving a merit certificate. Our next example is nobody in the Browns household is at home. Again, we ignore the prepositional phrase in the Browns household and focus on the singular subject nobody that agrees with the singular verb is. And our next example is everyone at the hospital works overtime. We ignore the prepositional phrase at the hospital and focus on the singular subject everyone, which requires a singular verb, works. Rule number 8, explanatory and additional phrases. Expressions such as together with, in addition to, as well as, accompanied by, provide supplementary information and do not change the subject of the sentence. For example, the book as well as the test papers has been received. Following the rule, we will disregard the phrase as well as the test papers. We may read the sentence as, the book has been received. The subject of the sentence is book, which is a singular subject, and it requires a singular verb, has. Example number 2. John, in addition to his classmates, is going on the field trip. Applying the same rule, we will disregard the additional phrase in addition to his classmates. Our sentence now becomes John is going on a field trip. Our singular subject is John, and it agrees with the singular verb is. Rule number 9. Look at the meaning of the word. Certain nouns, school subjects, and diseases, although they end in S, they are singular in meaning and call for a singular verb. For example, nouns such as news, series, economics, politics, civics, physics, mathematics, measles, and mumps. For example, the evening news is very terrifying. The singular subject news agrees with the singular verb is. Next example. A series of changes has been made. The singular subject series agrees with the singular verb has. Example number 3. Economics is not his favorite subject. The singular subject economics agrees with the singular verb is. Measles is a mild disease. Again, measles is a singular subject, so it agrees with a singular verb is. Rule number 10. Quantity. When a quantity is measured in one lump sum, it should be treated as one item. For example, 10 liters is a large amount of fuel. 10 liters is regarded as one amount. 10 liters is a singular subject and it agrees with the singular verb is. Our next example. Driving at 20 miles per hour is very slow. 20 miles per hour is regarded as one speed. 20 miles per hour is a singular subject and it agrees with the singular verb is. Next we look at this sentence. $100 is a fair amount to tip the waiter. $100 is regarded as one sum of money. $100 is a singular subject and it agrees with the singular verb is. However, when a quantity is measured in piece-by-piece units, a plural verb is required. For example, 100 books are in the box. This means that there are 100 individual books in the box. That is a plural subject that must agree with a plural verb are. Rule number 11. Using the word number. When the word number is the subject of a sentence, remember this rule. A. When number is preceded by the, use a singular verb. For example, the number of books in the box is only 10. Number preceded by the is a singular subject, so it agrees with a singular verb is. When any other word including a precedes the word number, use a plural verb. A number of students have passed their examinations. Number is preceded by a, so it takes the form of a plural subject, which agrees with the plural verb have. Rule number 12. Titles of books and articles. Titles of books and articles may sound plural, but they are singular. For example, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle is an interesting book. So even though adventures is plural, it is part of the title of a book, one book. So we use a singular verb. Rule number 13, collective nouns. Certain words refer to a number of people or things that make up one group. Words such as jury, faculty, crowd, committee, mob are known as collective nouns and may be either singular or plural depending upon their meaning in a sentence. There are two parts to this rule. One, when the entire group to which they refer acts as a single unit, use a singular verb. For example, the committee is scheduled to meet this afternoon. Committee, in this case, is a singular subject, so it agrees with a singular verb is. Number 2, when we refer to the individuals that make up the group, we use a plural verb. For example, the committee were arguing with one another. This means that individual members of the committee were arguing with one another. However, please note that even though this last sentence is grammatically correct, it sounds extremely awkward, so it is recommended that sentences such as this one be rewritten to read, "The committee members were arguing with one another." And we're at our final rule, rule number 14. Rule number 14 looks at fractions and percentages. A fraction may be singular or plural depending upon its meaning in a sentence. A. When a fraction refers to a quantity taken as a whole, it is singular in meaning. For example, 50% of the milk was wasted. 50% is referred to as a quantity that is taken as a whole, so it is a singular subject and it would agree with a singular verb was. B. When the fraction or percentage refers to a number, it is plural in meaning. For example, half of the birds have left their nest. This refers to a number of the birds that have left their nests. So it's a plural subject that requires a plural verb, have. But here's a tip when using fractions and percentages in your sentences. There's an easy way to tell the difference. Usually, fractions and percentages are followed by a phrase beginning with of. So if the noun or pronoun in the phrase is plural, use a plural verb. And if the noun or pronoun in the phrase is singular, use a singular verb. For example, 1/4 of the houses in this area are for sale. Following the tip given, if the noun or pronoun in the phrase is plural, then the verb is plural. Houses is the noun and it is plural, so it agrees with the plural verb are. Let's look at the next sentence. 25% of the farm in this area is wasted. Following the rule, farm is a singular subject that agrees with a singular verb is. Well, that was a lengthy lesson. I'm sure that you will now master the art of writing perfect English. It was my pleasure bringing it to you. Thank you for joining me. For more English grammar lessons, please subscribe to this channel and let me hear from you in the comment section. See you next time.